Home sweet home.
Because the sky is blue, it makes me cry. Because the sky is blue. Because the wind is high, it blows my mind.
We get on just great. You flirt. I smile.
Yeah, we're a team.
What's up, everybody on the interwebs? This is the Lucent Truth, and today we are going to be reviewing the movie Valerian and the City of a Thousand, was it planets? Yeah, City of a Thousand Planets. And as usual, we're going to start with the plot with Mr. Orlando King. Orlando, what did you think of the plot and the story for Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets?
With the plot and the story, it's really interesting. I mean, I love the whole, the plot with, being in the future, and like everybody, just like the aliens and, and the human race, and the plot with all the conflict that's going on in Valerian and stuff and all. And it's, it kind of feels kind of like when I first had actually seen the movie and stuff. I mean, it kind of felt like things were being just thrown at me. Like the intro part was good. Mm-hmm. I'm seeing everything what happened, but once the alien, their planet, I won't say got attacked, but they was just in the middle of the conflict, mm-hmm. and the result from that, it's like whenever it's like spoilers and all, but like when one of the characters had died, her soul went off, and then it got to the main character, or one of the main characters, and it's like I really feel like it could have been introduced a lot more better, because it kind of felt like we should already know them type of deal, but I'm thinking this is from a comic.
Yeah,
I guess we already know what it is.
French comic, yeah.
Okay.
A graphic novel, I think. Yeah.
Okay, it's like with me, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people out there. I can't say a lot of people, but I took it as if I think I should already know who this person is.
Yeah.
And I just think that the way that plot was kind of set up like that, it kind of really wasn't an introduction. So you get introduced, but I just felt like kind of thrown in.
Could have been smoother.
Yeah, a lot more smoother type of deal.
Yeah.
But the whole plot with the conflict with they're in the middle of this war, and a lot of things is basically covering up certain things, what's going on, kind of covering up, I guess, war crimes, what you want to call it. But I like the plot. I like the plot and all, but I mean, I just felt like the characters could have been introduced more better, for people who didn't know, because I think that's where I struggled at too.
Yeah,
I didn't know, but I mean. But other than that, I really think I guess we'll get to it later with the cinematography and the graphics and see, that beautiful,
Yeah.
But that's how I felt about with the plot though.
All right, Dave, what do you think of the plot and the story?
I really like the story, and the plot. There might have been some ways that they could have done it better, but what was really interesting about it to me, and we talked about it earlier, is when you watch this movie, these events have already happened here on Earth. Mm-hmm. And this is how it unfolded. And then you're gonna see it done in the future. So it may seem it's alien, it's a new concept, but when you look at how we formed as a globe, a planet, a collection of people, and different tribes and different people that got left out, this story was already told. This is history, really. Mm-hmm. Except the people that got left out of the forming of the modern world didn't make a comeback like that. Mm-hmm. So it really has a lot of depth to it when I saw it. And I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I think the story, the actual story for the movie, is really good. What it's about, I think, is really good. It's how it's told, which is the plot. I think is where we have a lot of problems. Orlando kind of brought some of these up already. I thought the character development was terrible. I thought the pacing and how things were revealed could have been much better. It's really, there was almost too much in the movie. It's almost like this movie should have been like 2 movies, or it should have been a really cool, high-budget miniseries or something like that. But I agree with both of you. I think the story was excellent. I think it was a good concept to build off of. I just think, man, the plot, I think how they actually revealed the story wasn't done very well at all.
It just feels like the characters needed that backstory intro. I'm like, okay, this dude, you know, he's tough wise and everything and all that, but it's like, you know.
Shame.
I
Cell
forgot,
phone in the podcast.
I forgot to silence my cell phone. Sorry.
Nah, it's all good. But yeah, but just going back to that, man, I just really feel like if we had like a backstory on the main characters, you know, I felt like I can, you know, take them in more better.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, just like I said, you know, I don't know the back. I've heard it's a comic, you know, but yeah, just the introduction to those characters would help, you know, because it's like I'm trying to figure them out because they look like they know what they're doing. They're these special agents or whatnot. And everything.
Yeah, even with that, you know, I think also casting has a lot to do with it too, because the main actor, I can't remember his name, but it's the guy from
he's Valerian, whatever.
The guy who plays Valerian, yeah.
My whole thing, I'm like,
he's not the most charismatic actor in that role. He's almost like a Han Solo type of role. You know, he's not very charismatic, and we're kind of getting into the acting part of it. But to relate it back to the plot, when I looked at him and I looked at his female co-actor, I didn't really believe their relationship. And when you don't believe, when the main characters aren't believable or the main characters aren't strong, that brings no matter how good the story is, it brings the entire movie down, I thought. You know what I'm saying? And it has an excellent story. The concept is great. But those two just did not pull it off. They couldn't pull it off. I was not convinced by them at all throughout almost the entire movie. I wasn't convinced almost the entire time, and I just thought they were a low point for the movie, and they were the main characters, and that has a lot to do with how it's written in the when you don't know enough about the main characters, who they are and where they came from and why you should care about them. Right. Why would you care about the rest of the movie?
Right.
And I think that really hurt the movie. So, but does anybody have anything else to say about the plot in the story?
No.
And yeah, as far as the cinematics are concerned, I'll say I researched in this movie and they spent well over $100 million.
It looks like it.
Yeah, making it. So it's a beautiful film.
Yeah.
But it goes back to what I was saying before. I think they could have spent just as much money and created, you know, a really expensive miniseries and probably developed the story a little more. But ultimately, Orlando, what did you think of the cinematics in the movie?
Man, I honestly think that's one of the things that actually saved the movie. I mean, the cinematics, it helped me look past
some of the glaring flaws.
Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, because it's like, a lot of times it's like, damn, am I watching it made me think, like, even watching the movie, I was like, man, you know, I play video games and stuff, and it's just like, the same type of graphics that you see in that movie, it's like, when I'm playing video games, that's what I'm seeing too. And it's like, okay, especially in the beginning, like, I was like, man, am I watching this movie or it feels like I'm also like watching a game cinematic as well too. Yeah. But they blend together. I mean, you know, it's like I said, it really feels like it helped save this movie. It helped look past all the other flaws and stuff and all, man. And I want to say like mainly every scene was beautiful. I mean, with the special effects, the way how it was shot and all. I mean, I really think that's one of the factors that helped save this movie, man. It's just they did a really good job with the like even with this right here, man, visuals. And yeah, I mean, it's it's on point, man.
Yeah, it's a pretty film.
Yeah.
So, Uncle David, what did you think of the cinematics?
I have to agree. I mean, they just took the whole palette or whatever of colors and they used everything, the pinks, the blues, the light greens or whatever. It really looked very bright, very interesting, and it gave it the feel that if you wanted to take your family to go see something, it wasn't like dark when you go see Aliens or something like that. Those films are a little bit darker and use more of the greens, whatever. But this was just a beautiful, beautiful film. When you start with the first shot with the alien planet, the Pearl people, whatever. This shot right here, it really opened up my imagination about what life on other planets could look like, and then when they started to show you glimpses of the space station and how it worked and
all the different
species and everything like that, it was really, really convincing that they were in space and the way they had done it. They didn't do it overdo it on the CG. They made a good blend with that and people.
Because I noticed he used a lot of like animatronic type puppetry effects for some of the aliens, which I thought was it's missing in a lot of movies these days. I think we need to go back to the practical effects.
So yeah, I mean, visually stunning. You won't lose a bit of your time as far as when you look at the way it looked. Money well spent.
Yeah, I would have to agree. And Luc Besson, the director, he's also known for I think the movie came out in '97, The Fifth Element.
One of my favorite films.
But I have to say, I felt the same about The Fifth Element. I always liked the story for The Fifth Element, but the plot and the acting left much to be desired. But it was also a really pretty film. And at the time, I think The Fifth Element was the biggest budget French movie at the time, and now this is the biggest budget French movie. So he has a way with the visuals for sure, and in some respects he reminds me of George Lucas, whom I think he admires. George Lucas is the same way. Like visually, man, he could create a very compelling looking movie, but he just lacks when it comes to directing actors and pacing out in the writing. That's where he goes astray or whatever. But ultimately, I agree with both of you, man. It's a beautiful film. It's stunning. Like this trailer doesn't do it justice because this trailer I don't think is quite 4K. But I was watching the movie on his Amazon account, and so I got the full, benefit of seeing it in its highest quality. And I was amazed, especially like you said with that first scene with the pearl people on the planet Mule or whatever. It was gorgeous. It's just really gorgeous. Unfortunately, that can't be the only thing that makes a film good, because I believe Avatar was a beautiful film, or is a beautiful film. But that movie sucks.
That much. I was gonna say I didn't like Avatar.
Yeah, the movie sucks.
I had to fight to get through it.
And I argue with a lot of people. I was like, there's certain black and white movies I will watch over and over again. I would rather watch those black and white movies than Avatar. I don't care how pretty it is. If the story is not compelling, if it's not well directed, if the acting isn't good, you can have the most pretty, beautiful movie in the world, but it's not compelling. I don't want to watch it. I don't find it. It doesn't move me in any way. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, this movie, Valerian, the planet the city of 1,000 planets, almost reaches that level. I think it's better than Avatar. As far as being able to relate to the characters and stuff like that, and the acting, but not much better. So does anybody have anything else to say about the cinematics?
Talk about with in the opening with the space stations. I like how they did that with like the evolution of it.
That was cool.
I like how they did that.
That was cool.
To build a story up. And they're like, okay.
That was probably one of the best scenes.
And then when you got them on the beach and stuff and all, and I was like, okay, that's cool. And then it's like when I got introduced to the actors, I was like, the stars. I'm like, okay,
now that you say, I will say there are a couple of flaws, and they're small for me. But I noticed I didn't like the official costumes or uniforms for the what do they call the city? Alpha.
Right.
Alpha 1.
It's almost the one there was in the visual thing.
No, the green uniforms they had with the circuitry on it. I just thought that even when we looked at the textures and stuff, like man, it just looks like you just hurried up and made that. I thought that was I didn't like it.
I kind of go even
some of the spacesuits they had in earlier times when they showed where they were still building the station.
Yeah.
Look cooler than the outfits that they
got
eventually wore. Yeah, like,
I guess too is like even with the actual like outfits.
Shay.
It's all good.
Now you have some Brian going on through the podcast.
It's all good.
That's 2 offenses. Please continue, Orlando. Sorry for Brian's rude phone.
But yeah, it's like looking at the costumes and stuff. I mean, yeah, it's
some of them are really good. It's just for some reason that one stood out to me. Yeah, the green ones they were wearing, that one stood out to me the most because it's like, okay, this is what they're wearing as in an official capacity. They could have designed it a little better. I thought it just looked cheesy to me. Yeah. Now, but part of his movies is there's a cheesy aspect to it.
It's the comic book look.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be classic military.
Agreed. I'm just saying it could have been designed better. And they could have used some better textures. It looked cheap to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because when I saw it, and that's a good point, because I thought, what are those, gears?
Yeah, there's no real rhyme or reason to it.
Whatever, they're not stars, they're not...
No, I never read the graphic novel. Maybe they got their inspiration from something in the graphic novel.
Yeah, that could be.
They were trying to, So, but yeah, cinematically, though, I think it's an amazing movie. And I will say, what scene really stands out to me the most, or that I always go back to in my head, is the scene in the end where you see the Pearl humanoid creature or people coming out of that
the
little gateway, and they're just standing in front of you. You see them somewhat silhouetted, and they do that little greeting thing they do, and they all start holding hands. Some reason that just stands out in my mind. I don't know why. I just like that shot. I thought it was
kind of like a protest,
almost like a protest.
It's like we're not doing any harm.
Exactly.
Coming in peace. Because even when they was trying to get the materials they needed to rebuild their I guess holographic planet.
Yeah.
It's like they didn't hurt nobody.
You know what? I'm glad you brought that up because I don't think that was a hologram. I think they got so advanced they literally created another dimension inside that. And I think that's why they were released. That's why
I was like, okay, well, why would they want it? So they just gonna live the rest of their
the hologram. No, remember when they were like standing on the beach and the water actually hit there? Yeah. Because it's really it's literally another dimension. I think they got that advanced because
inside of their ship.
Because the foreshadowing of that is big market.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
They probably use some technology to create literally another whole dimension. So, but does anybody got anything else to say about the cinematics? And now we're going to talk about the acting and the writing in the movie. And starting with Orlando, what did you think of the acting and the overall script?
What do I think about the acting and the overall script? Well, I mean, I kept trying to compare it to The Fifth Element. And it's like, I mean, the acting in The Fifth, I love it because it was just The Fifth Element. It was my first time seeing something like that. But then it's like, even watching this movie, same thing with The Fifth Element, but it's like, I kind of felt like, the acting, it was just different. Like, it was just, I mean, it's like, it works, but then at times, it's like, what? It's like, because it's like I'm seeing the style they're going for, so that's how I'm acting. Yeah, it's pulling it off, but like, it still goes back to like, it's like the main character, Valerian. It's like, he's supposed to be this tough guy and this and that. And showing that world he is, you know what I'm saying? He does this movie, goes, he saves his girl, but not this and that. But it's like, I'm only seeing him just tough in that type of world. It's just something, it's not, I guess it's just not believable to me. It's just pretty much, it's just, but I mean, but it works, but it's like, I just felt like I had to just set aside what I was feeling just to, get into the movie because, like I said, the visuals, it's just, it just keeps you in there. It wasn't nothing dull in it. Okay, wow, that was cool. This is happening. And, and you see what the conflict is, but as far as them executing it and making it believable, it's like, it was just rough, especially at the end, spoiler. When they found out that it was the captain or whoever, the high chief or whatnot, basically trying to cover up what he did, and it's like, some of the things I wish I could, some of the things that they were said in it, it's just, like, man, come on, man, this just happened and this is how y'all act, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But it's just, it kind of felt rushed a little bit. Like once that part, because it was a long movie and it was kind of at the end, so I kind of felt like, okay, yeah, it probably was more stuff to it, but they might have had to chop it up just to make it all fit into the movie. But I don't know, maybe there's an undirector's cut shows that you can really get, because it just felt rushed and just like, okay, I just felt just rushed at the end. Dr. Lewis.
What do you think?
Yeah, definitely on the acting, that's where they saved their money. For real, I mean, at certain times during the movie, as far as Valerian, for me being a former military person, okay, I can kind of see it, but as a military person, especially a higher-ranking military officer, he was a little too young and carefree to convince me that he was, all right, you're this serious military soldier on these missions, doing these actions. With his partner, maybe so. She was a little bit better at it, but for him, it was kind of like, maybe they got this guy playing this film because of the way he looked or something, or whatever. He was just too cheesy, as far as I'm concerned, to pull it off. There were side characters I liked better than him. You know what I'm saying? What was the female's actress's name? His partner?
Her name in the movie or her actual name?
Her actual name, do you know?
It's like Clara. She's like Divine or something like that. I can look it up real quick. Claire or something. She was a model, I think.
She was a little bit better, but still.
Yeah, and it goes back, like I said, like this movie's gonna make me want to go back and check out the actual comic. Maybe that's how that person is in that comic type of deal, and he's probably portraying them right. Okay, hey, this is how he's supposed to act, But
there's just because he's on cue.
It's cool. Keep going. You good?
You good?
Yeah, we good. Yeah, keep going.
Yeah, just because he's on cue though, as far as all right, yes, he's supposed to play a smart aleck, womanizing tough guy. There's probably 1,000 B-rated, C-rated actors that can play that part. Doesn't mean they play it well. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think what's this woman's name? I think when it comes to I'll look it up later. You can look it up real quick. I think when it comes to the acting in this movie and the writing, is where we really start to see a lot of flaws and why this movie isn't a classic. Going off, both of you made some really good points. The point you made where it's like, okay, I literally had to put their bad acting to the side to try and enjoy other aspects of the movie. And that's a testament to how good some of the other aspects of the movie are. Because if the other aspects of the movie were weaker, I would have turned the movie off. I wouldn't even bother finishing watching it.
Yeah.
But it's also a testament to how bad the acting and some of the writing and some of the scripts and the lines are. And going off of what you said as far as the casting, I've seen that young man, I don't know his name, the young man that plays Valerian in a number of movies. The first movie I saw him in is that movie where these kids get like these psychic powers or whatnot. And he was okay in that, but I think that part was he did well in that part because he played kind of like this depressed, kind of like emo type of character.
Right.
The second movie I saw him in, he played the Hobgoblin in Amazing Spider-Man, and he was terrible. Now, I don't know if it's because he's just that bad of an actor or if it's the writing, because the writing was really bad in that too. But I see him in this, and it's like, I'm not quite, you just don't quite do it. He's not quite doing it. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think, I agree, he wasn't. Now, again, I've never seen the comic. Maybe he looks like the character in the comic or whatever, but I just didn't believe him. He looks like he looks like he's like 19. I didn't see him as this seasoned soldier who had all this experience and could do all these. I didn't see it. He looks like he's, he looks like a young John Connor from Terminator. Like Judgment Day keeps coming up and I reviews or whatever. But that's what he looks like. He looks
and I
like
have
that.
to say, before I forget, as far as her performance with the dance on stage, Rihanna was excellent, but her acting is terrible. Terrible. Your voiceovers for the characters and everything was absolutely horrible. They could have left that out.
Even Clive Owen, who I think is a pretty good actor in this movie, just did not. He kind of reminds me of George Lucas. He'll get like these good actors like Ewan McGregor, Sam Jackson, but he gets these he gets these mediocre performances out of him in his movies because I don't think he's that type of director. You know what I'm saying? And but I will say, I think the people who did the voice acting for the Pearls, the people from the Planet of View, I think they did a good job.
Right.
They were believable. Their voice acting was believable. I think they were all CG. I don't think those were.
Yeah.
I don't think they were like, yeah.
I think the Emperor was sounding a little bit feminine to me.
I think they did that for a reason, to show that, okay, and speaking of feminine, I'm glad you brought that up. The reason why I do like this movie is the themes. I thought the themes were well portrayed. If you look at the movie, and I was talking to a guy online about this. This movie, in some sense, was a metaphor. It was a giant yin-yang metaphor. It was balance. The whole entire movie was about balance, if you really think about it. And the reason why I think they went with a feminine type of sound for him was to show these people are in balance. They just like how you and I are like, man, you sound like a sissy. They don't have all that in there. They admire him because he's wise. They don't give a damn about how his voice sounds. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? They're past all that petty crap. If you remember the scene when they were stuck in the ship and they were just floating out in space, yeah. They all worked together. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like, oh, I'm in charge, blah, blah, blah. No, but he was already in charge.
You have to add to that, if that was the case, then his wife, the queen, she would have had to have been that much more masculine. But she was also very feminine.
Yeah, she was also very feminine, but look,
they weren't
the masculine. No, it wasn't masculine. The masculine part was he's the emperor.
That's not masculine.
That is masculine. Because here's why. Here's why it's masculine. And when I say masculine, I don't necessarily mean gender. I'm talking about energy, or I'm talking about how you would classify how maybe societies operate. A masculine part of society would be that we have this order, this structure, this pyramidal system. They obviously had it because he's the emperor. They have some kind of masculine aspect to their society.
We're gonna have to say this for another podcast.
No, that's why that's why I wanted to do this movie, because that's the important part. Look, if I had kids, and I don't, but if I had kids, I'm making them watch this movie. I'm making them watch this movie because I think it's that important. That's why I wanted to talk about this movie, because of the themes, not necessarily because the acting is great or anything. It's not. The acting's not great.
I
you see what I'm saying?
Part of the theme when it comes to the emperor and his people and why they got wiped out is because maybe they didn't have enough.
Good point.
Masculinity in the beginning.
That's why I wanted to
They didn't even have a plan of defense.
That's why I wanted to talk about this movie. Excellent point, Uncle David. Excellent point. Wait. Let me. Can I build on that for just a second?
Go ahead.
The reason why I think it's an excellent point, because I brought this up to this guy online. If you look at the movie, what the mules were doing on their planet, he even said it. We lived in harmony with the elements, right? But they didn't have an answer for aggression. You see what I'm saying? So even though they lived in harmony with the elements, they were still unbalanced. They were too feminine.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? They were too feminine.
On their planet, they didn't have the same elements that other planets had.
But this
is water.
No, I mean as far as like if you're on a planet that's like volcanic or whatever, you learn defense. If food is hard, you learn to kill.
Perhaps.
They had abundance. Give it to them.
They had abundance. Yeah. So that's the point I'm trying to make, is that they had to take on some masculine qualities for their civilization to survive. But they didn't go overboard with it. And that's why I think the beauty of the movie is, if you look at Valerian's or the City of 1,000 Planets, they basically, in my opinion, it was a metaphor for Western colonialization, Western civilization. We go, we conquer, we take what works, we throw out what doesn't work. That aspect is always trying to push down the feminine and raise the masculine when it comes to energy, or even if you want to talk about gender, it does the same thing with gender. We're getting better at it as far as Western civilization is concerned, but it still ain't quite there. But if you look at what the mules did, remember he even said it. He said, "Look, once our anger recited, once they toned that down and they started, oh, hey, look, we have to learn this stuff to survive. We have to learn technology. We have to learn how to mimic nature." You know what I'm saying? So when this type of thing happens again, we have an answer for it. But they don't go overboard with it. It's like, look, the reason why you guys are unbalanced, remember he even said, you're your worst enemy. You're gonna be the cause of your own destruction.
Right.
Because you can't listen to the feminine aspect. You can't say, "Hey, look, what we did was wrong, and we should to maintain balance, we should address those wrongs." You know what I'm saying? And make amends. You see what I'm saying? That's why I think that part of the movie is beautiful.
But I think
beautiful part of the movie.
You look at it,
you have to have a little bit of both.
You have to have a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Their answer was still, and it's something that I believed when you looked at the history of tribes in Africa or whatever. Which, by the way, the Pearl people.
You can tell that. Yeah, you can tell that's what they were about. They're called the Neolithic people. You can tell they were modeled off those people in Africa. Yeah.
Those people or different tribes. I can't say those people in particular, right? They could avoid and live in harmony and do things by always fleeing. Whenever there was conflict, they were always fleeing. But we live on a planet with finite boundaries.
Yeah.
There's nowhere to go.
Here's the thing.
So at some point, you're gonna have to.
Were they fleeing? They had the ability. They were advanced enough where they could wreck that place. They could have literally become the overlords. They could have been like, all right, now we're in charge. We're the superior ones. They're like, nah, that's a cycle that'll never end. So like, you know what? We have the technology to defend ourselves now, and we have the technology to get the hell out of here and do what we want. But I see what you're saying when you relate it back to real world situations.
Real world. If you can't go anywhere, right? And it's only so long. Plus, you have to look. The technology that they have, they borrowed from all the other civilizations that they came in contact with.
That's why I say yin yang.
Right?
Yeah.
But they could easily find a solution to, perpetuate their let's live on the beach with the pearls and everything and stay away from other people. But when you're really digging into relating it to real life, when people tried this before, well, we're going to take our little technology and we're going to migrate, and we're going to migrate, and we're going to migrate. After a while, they ran into either water or another civilization that got stopped and stomped out. You know what I'm saying?
No.
So there's, what part do you not understand?
Well, you said either got stomped or wiped out. Usually from what I've seen in history, if someone has advanced technology and they go to another civilization, they're the ones stomping somebody out. It's not the people who they come in contact with.
Well, what I meant is they were able to advance their technology at least to a certain point. But once you run into a stable civilization with walls and armies and things like that, migrating people usually don't do that.
All I'm saying is I'm not trying to say that I'm not trying to relate it to our history. I'm trying to say here is something that people who live in Western civilization can learn from.
Right.
And that is that people who we consider primitives or backwards people, there's something you can learn from those people. You see what I'm saying? And to finish up what I was talking about when it comes to the themes in the movie, ultimately all I really want to say is that media ultimately influences people, how they think and how they act. And I think this movie has a really positive message. And with so much media nowadays, especially after 9/11 with all these war movies and glorifying soldiers and stuff, I thought this was a good movie to show how having an overbearing colonial or neo-colonial type of mindset can actually be detrimental. And I thought this movie did a good job with showing that you need to have a good balance. Like I know David was actually pointing out. But we're going to move on to unless someone has something else to say about this, we're going to move on to the musical score.
I got one other.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, like, I know y'all talking about with the humanoids and, with them. Okay, like, whenever humans, when they were battling, who were they fighting?
That's a good question. They never said.
Because I know y'all were saying, like, okay, yeah, these people could have, retaliate, because basically y'all destroyed our planet. Whoever those other people were, that they blew up and the planet crashed in there just like this.
Fighting each other.
And, it destroyed their planet. And they ran off into safety in a little, I guess it was another spaceship that would crash. They just happened to get in there, then their planet gets destroyed and blows up, then they survive and as they drift around and they find it. And just like you were saying, they could have, they said, so yeah, we just let our hatred, or, we just wait till we calm down, and then we just like, look, we're not going to just come after y'all like that, because they can't be. They could have killed all the people like that. They had like tactics going in, like a ninja, just taking people out. You know what I'm saying?
They ain't gotten advanced enough to where I think they can took over.
Yeah, well, they, you know, I mean, if that's the case, man, how long do people live?
Yeah, that's right. They were long lived. They were long lived because they still look young.
Yeah.
And which is another reason why I liked it, because in some sense they were more advanced beings than humans. They were smarter. They lived longer. They're probably stronger.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. So the ones that pick it up.
And if they wanted to, they could have taken over, but they decided not to.
Yeah.
So in some sense, you could say they were even more advanced. They were more civil. They were more civilized. They were more civilized people. You know what I'm saying?
It couldn't have been that long because the dude.
No, it was 30 years. Remember?
Okay.
She said it was 30 years since the planet got destroyed.
Yeah, because the general was still alive.
Exactly.
It wasn't like hundreds of years.
Yeah.
And that for 30 years.
But the people that the humans were fighting in the war, they never revealed that. But I don't think it's really that important. The point is that the humans won, and they used dirty tactics.
They try to cover up.
To win, and try to cover up some atrocities.
Because it was always like, oh no, that planet was uninhabited and this and that.
When he knew it was uninhabited. Yeah. Which is a dilemma in war. You know what I'm saying? You know, but that's why I say they're more civil. You know, they got to the point like we gotta have weapons because you use the F word, but you guys are barbaric. So yeah, we have to have something to, just in case you come over here and or whatever. But at the same time, we're not gonna go be barbaric too.
They learn to take defensive postures.
Exactly.
Force fields, guns that shoot, that suspend the person they're fighting, invisibility, those types of things, which they should have been looking at all the time.
No, look. I don't disagree. I don't disagree. I don't disagree with your point. I will say that was their weakness. Is that they were too feminine. They were too beholden to nature. You see what I'm saying? And there should be a balance. It should be, okay, look, yes, we should live in harmony with nature, but we should also have technology that protects us from nature. And when I say nature, I even mean other beings.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Right. Yeah. So in that sense, I agree. That's why I say it's a big yin yang. When you look at the yin yang symbol, you got the white part, you got the black part. There's a little bit of the black part and the white part, and a little white part and the black part. Exactly. You got to have that balance. You know what I'm saying? But the same is true for the City of 1,000 Planets. You know, they had that human, Western, colonial, we're going to go out there and conquer type attitude, and it's going to destroy them. It's literally going to destroy them. Yes, you can get a lot of advancements. You can get a lot of technological advancements out of that. The problem is your societal advancement doesn't advance. That's why even when they were asking the spaceship, they're like, yes, the economy has been in shambles for years. So you mean you got all this technology, you can go warp to you still talking about money? You can't get past money? Right. You see what I'm saying? So in that regard, that's why that was probably one of the best lines in the whole movie. He was like, no, you're your own worst enemy. You're gonna destroy yourself.
Until you acknowledge
exactly
your faults.
Exactly.
You come face to face.
So in that respect, I thought it was a good movie. So now we are going to move on to the score and to the music. So Orlando, what did you think of the score?
To be honest with you,
forgettable.
I don't even remember any of the music of the score. Yeah. Well, that's about it.
Did she have a song?
Yeah, she had a song. She sung something.
Was that her song that she was dancing to?
I believe so. Yeah. She was singing.
It's not very memorable.
Yeah,
that's all you got.
I do remember they had the Wyclef song there.
Oh yeah.
They got the DGs Staying Alive remixed it in.
Gosh, man.
But other than that, man, it's
yeah.
I mean,
as far as the chases and the scenes,
it had the Star Wars visuals, but it definitely didn't have the Star Wars score.
No. I mean, I have to go back and listen to it once, but like I said, it's visually. That's what really just pulled in a lot. Now I'm pretty sure the music played a part too, because I guarantee, watching now with no music. Yeah. Okay, but just with the sound effects and all that kind of stuff. But
he got me early on it. He was like, hum a tune from it. Hum one tune from the movie. And I was like, I can't remember anything that would have stood out. You know,
at least when we were doing the Halloween movie, we were doing. We were doing. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but with this,
the score was weak as forgettable. Yeah.
I mean, like even now, we're looking at it right now. You know, like just watching. Yeah, the visuals nice and all, but I feel like there's something missing. Yeah. It's just something. It's in harmony.
Well, I got the audio off now.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean,
no
I'm pretty sure they got some other type of music.
Yeah.
But I mean, I really think the music does help in it. But I think it's just a perfect going again with that balance that it like. The music, it's just a balance with it. Even though you don't remember what the music is, it's there.
It
and
enhances
it
it.
does
You know
help
when
so
it
much.
enhances it, that's what you're saying.
But it's just not. It's not too over. It's not overdoing it. Just like the visuals. The visuals is.
You're right, man. Because I like Revenge of the Sith to this day, and that movie, when it comes to acting and script, is terrible. But dude, the music and the visuals in that, and Revenge of the Sith, I tell people, it's probably one of my favorite Star Wars movies, even though it's not as good as the originals.
Yeah.
It's probably one of my favorite because visually and the music, those two things alone, in my opinion, is established enough mood and atmosphere and character development.
Yeah.
Man, what's it called? What's that one track called? Something the Fates. Where you hear the operatic part of it. Yeah, dude, it's dope, man. It's just hardcore.
Yeah.
And it's memorable. It makes you get that feeling of Star Wars. You know what I'm saying? But sorry, man, Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets.
I'm pretty sure it's
fell
there.
off.
It's
there.
not. It's just. I guess we.
And one part where you were where the music just really got you like, oh yeah, man, this is gonna be tight.
It's just like I said, man.
Zero.
It just blend in with
Zero.
it.
Yeah.
It's, I know it's there, man. Because I mean, I just can't see myself just watching it like this. Okay, it has to be.
Look, that's why sometimes while I was watching the movie, okay, I'm getting a little bored.
Mm.
You know, even though the visuals or whatever there, because there were so many weak aspects in the movie, sometimes you get a little, and it's a long movie too, like, all right,
Yeah.
all right. Even you like, all right, hurry up so I can get
Come on, man. This thing over with.
And it's sad because, like I said, the themes
Mm.
in the movie, I just think are very powerful. And they dropped the ball with really expressing it in ways that could have made the movie a classic.
Mm.
The Fifth Element, in some sense, is a classic, even though I think it suffers from meeting the same problems.
Nah, I remember some music in that.
Yeah,
No.
yeah, like when the opera lady was singing, right. The blue lady was singing, whatever. Yeah, man, this one, the score, they dropped the ball. But you got anything else to say as far as the score?
I can't remember it, so I don't have anything to say about it.
Cool.
All right, guys, we're going to go to the final phase of our review, which is the rating and overall thoughts section. So, Orlando, what are your overall thoughts for the movie, and what is your final rating? How many Lucent bulbs will you give Valerian in the City of a Thousand Planets?
Let's see how many
You'll
bulbs.
be ashamed if you don't give it what I like.
Well, my final thoughts on it, man. Like I said, it's a beautiful movie. Visually, it's it's just the acting, kind of got me. And other than that, the visual, I still say the music is in there somewhere. It's gonna make me want to go back to kind of piece that out. I know it's in there. It's in there. But like I say, visual, music, just the whole fantasy part of it, the themes and stuff what they were talking about. It's relatable. But I mean, like I said, it's just the acting. But in a sense, it works for the film because how the style is or whatnot. But I still feel like they could have had somebody there more convincing type of deal. With that said, and like I said, visual is a major savior on this. I gotta give it a 4.
Ooh, wow.
Whoa.
I mean,
You mean you give this the same amount of bulbs as Hereditary?
I'll give you that, man.
What?
I mean, just like a simple fact, the underlying meaning, of what they're, if you look past the acting and stuff like that, the underlying meaning.
What did he pay you?
Well, Uncle David, we're going to go to you. What are your overall thoughts, and how many Lucent bulbs would you
I'm
give?
sorry, if you just do the math and you say, okay, well, if the way it looks is one, and your theme is one, story, whatever, and but acting, whatever, and you take them away, man, I can't give it anything but like a 2.5. That's at best, and I'm pushing it. I'm pushing it. When anytime.
How many times have you seen this?
Twice.
Twice.
First time I fell asleep.
Okay.
I had to watch it again just so.
Did you watch it with somebody else, or were you watching it with yourself?
I was watching it with myself.
And you still fell asleep.
Yes, he wants to make jokes. Yeah. I was watching it with myself. Okay, me, myself, and I.
Hey,
But anyway,
yeah.
it's like, all right, if you can't get me through the film without me feeling like I'm gonna get up or change the channel, I can't give you higher than a 3.
Yeah.
And I believe you're being very nice. Because Orlando is a very nice man.
I want to come to that other movie. It was one of the movies I gave it. And even John was like, man, you're not, Orlando doesn't normally give it. I forgot what movie that was. But I mean, but yeah, like, you know, this is my second time watching also too. And I was going to watch it by myself. I found out y'all were watching it yesterday. I was like, you know what, let me come over there and watch it with y'all too. So that way I'll make it, you know, with it and all. But
this movie's borderline lame if you ask me.
What did you find rating? What was it?
2.5.
2.5.
If you had taken the great visuals away and just based on acting and the plot of what was going on, I would have had to give it a 1. And what we have to look at is, even though the theme was great, it's been a lot. It's been done a lot. It's a true story. It's how we look at things everywhere, the military and such and such. I mean, it's basically Avatar. Here are the primitives, whatever, the military comes in and
I actually thought it was better done in Avatar.
It is.
I think.
But the theme is not new. It's not something that's never been done.
There's hardly any new themes. I mean, you ask any storyteller, every story is pretty much told.
Okay.
Told.
It's closely related to that.
How it's told, and I think this movie does a better job of telling that story than Avatar did.
Okay.
I felt more for the Pearl Mule characters than I did the creatures, the feline type creatures on Avatar.
Okay.
Mainly because they tried to do the whole Great White Hope thing, which really annoyed me. You know what I'm saying? I'm the Great White Hope. I'm gonna come save you, even though I'm not really in a native. It was like a Dance of the Wolves type. You know what I'm saying? So that threw a lot of wrenches in it for me as far as me liking that movie.
Right.
This movie right here, it's the natives coming up and working together and learning how to advance, but not going too far and saying, hey, we're gonna.
So obviously he thinks a little more highly than what I gave it to you, and he's been waiting to say
Believe it or not.
Yeah, and he's got the talking pencil.
Believe it or not, our rating is the same as yours.
All right.
It's 2.5. I couldn't quite give it 3 because there's so many other flaws in the movie. And I gave Hereditary 3.5 because even though I thought the story, even though I thought the story in that movie wasn't very good, but the plot was really good, everything else in the movie was so good, I have to give you a 3.5. You know what I'm saying? This movie right here, it's like, look, like you said, when you take the visuals away and you take the overall theme away, you ain't really left with much. You're not left with a whole lot. So even though I enjoyed the movie, even though I like the movie, even though I recommend going and see the movie, even though I highly recommend you sit your kids down and you make them watch the movie and you talk about the different themes in the movie, I think that's how we're going to change our culture, is through media. In some respects, is that we have to start changing what we communicate to our children. We can't keep communicating the same old tropes. America great. Oh, we have the best military in the world. Anyone who challenges us gets destroyed. We don't say it exactly that way, but we do a lot of justifications. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, that pretty much is that. That pretty much says that. You see what I'm saying? And I think this movie does a good job dispelling those types of tropes. And but overall, I agree with Uncle David. I think there's too many weak parts of the movie for me to give it a solid 3 stars. It's 2.5. Now, granted, if we had 10, not stars, bulbs. If we had 10 bulbs, it'd probably be like a 6.5. You know what I'm saying? Or 5.5. But you know, if you only got 5, man.
All the different factors.
Yeah, man. It's a little too weak to give it 3. So no, 2.5. 2.5. It's not a 4.
Yeah, but I mean, like I say, you know, and I think, you know, another thing too is like, it's making me want to go back and check out the actual comic too. Maybe
we're not rating.
We're not rating the comic. But if you do want to go check this movie out, you know, check the comic out. Maybe that'll help give you the inside.
Yeah, perhaps.
You know, so I mean, you know.
Yeah. But does anybody have any last words?
Like, subscribe, and share. And you can get one of these awesome t-shirts.
Oh, yeah.
Or whatever.
For our own story that has great themes, by the way.
He's the director and the main, what do you call yourself on this? Director, writer, animator on this story or whatever. And Orlando also does some of the artwork too. So they have, and that's what's, I think is interesting about our podcast. I do not do any directing. That's why I don't know a lot of stuff they're talking about. But my opinion matters the most because I'm a Canadian.
But with that, everyone, thank you for tuning in and listening to our movie review. And goodbye.